steer the country to a right direction. I have the single honor once again to present to you Dr. Ismaila Cessay, a political science student at the University of Gambia, and the head of the political science department.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
No, I mean today I'm here to lecture.
Okay.
When the introductions I'm going to present, I'm not going to present anything. I'm going to have an interactive session with you. I could easily come here and talk for 1 hour, 1.5 hours, but I don't operate that way. I want us to have an interactive session. I learn from you, you learn from me. All of you are sitting on a wealth of experience, wealth of knowledge that I could gain from. I think today is that day when I learn from you. I'm not sure. First of all, I have to thank Gail, of course, obviously, through Mr. Male, for inviting me here to come and engage with the young people. We have some guests? Yeah. Let's welcome Yes, like I was saying, I'd like to thank the Gale Institute, not for inviting me one time to engage you, but also for doing this for country. Obviously, I think Mr. Wada could have invested his time and his resources for something else that would bring personal benefit to him. But no, he's a patriot. Takes the country's interest very seriously. And there's no better way to invest or to help this country than invest in its youth. And you are aware that over 65% of our population are youth. And therefore, for Gambia to move, we must invest in you. And how do we invest in you? This is something that we'll discuss. I've heard the guy who introduced me to say that my work is geared towards empowering them. But how do we empower? What do we mean by if we say empower young people? How does that happen? So I'd like to thank the Gale Institute for that. Coming to today's topic, I think I was slotted to discuss the role of youth in politics. Very good. These two words, young people, politics, the past past decade has become very, very, very interesting, not only in Gambia, but also within the whole African continent. You've realized that obviously during the Cold War, before 1989-90, young people were not very much, not interested, but the role they played was not properly focused. I think we start to see that, especially during the Arab Spring in Tunisia, when Mohamed Bouazizi, obviously a young man, who burned himself up in reaction to what he thought was humiliation from a female security officer. And that triggered, what did it trigger? A set of incidences which saw many dictators fall. And we are still feeling the reverberations of that action, especially in Sudan, of course, and also in Algeria and other places. So young people have a key role to play, especially now. Not only now, but even in the future. I mean, the demographic dynamics are telling us that today, 65, if not only Gambia, but even the whole continent, we have a youthful continent. That over 65% of the continent's population are young people. And this is projected to rise, in fact, in the next 20-25 years. So therefore, if you have a role to play in politics, it's just about to start. Because in the next 20-25 years, we'll have so many young people. And obviously, any government that is serious and that understands the complex issue of development will understand what governments do is to plan. I think what our governments have done previously, where they fail to plan, they fail to look at the evidence, the empirical evidence, the statistics, that look, this is the rate at which we are growing in the Gambia. 25 years ago we were 1 million. Now we are 2 million. In 25 years' time, it is projected that will be 4 million. Out of these 4 million, how many? What's the young? How many are going to be young people? And how do you plan for these young people? So that in 25 years' time, we have a country where young people can live in dignity and not make a decision that they rather die accident to live in their own country. How do you plan for you in 2045? What kind of government do you want in 2045 for you so that you can excel? So that you can be able to, because each and every has a talent. Each and every one has talent. The Americans told us that everybody has a what? No. People are born with inalienable rights. For me, I believe that each and everyone is born with a talent. But where you are born, the environment which is created can't help you develop that talent. Most of us are born, unfortunately, in a country where the conditions are not prepared to help us what? I should have been a good footballer. I should have played in the Premier League by now and retired from football and eating my money, but I did not. Because I wasn't born in a country which really created an environment whereby I could be able to develop my unique talent as a Gambian. So we need to start thinking about what kind of Gambia do we want in 2045? What is going to be our demographic dynamics? What's going to be our population in 2025? 4 million, fine. How many are being young people? 2 million of these will be young people. What do young people need? Schools, vocational institutes, multi-purpose centers. So we need to start building for that now. We can't wait until 2045 and we start thinking, what do we do with this whole youthful population? And it's a double-edged sword. Obviously, you've heard about the youth. It could either be good or bad. We have to harness this potential, this huge potential, and sometimes I always argue that the Gambia has a very important natural resource. What we have in terms of a youth population is much more important than the oil we are about to explore and drill. The money we are going to spend to explore and drill the oil and refine it, if we invest that money into you to drill and explore and refine your talents, it could contribute more to our country in the long term than this oil, because the EU and in fact the British, the German, even the Americans are telling you that in 2045, we don't want cars that use fuel running on our roads. They are moving to electric cars. Even planes will not be using jet fuel, they are using batteries, which are made now that technology in the UK and other countries. So even if you have this oil, and the world has changed to not using this oil, it's useless. We should be able to by now identify and prepare you for jobs that are not created yet in 2045. Most of you are doing your degrees. You want to become soldier, you want to become whatever you want to be. But in 2045, 2050, the world is moving to what they call artificial intelligence. Even surgery is going to be done by a robot. They can do surgery for 19 hours with precision, more than human beings. So even if you have and we are moving to driverless cars, you can't even get a job as a driver because cars are driving themselves. Even not as a delivery man, because we are having drones doing delivery. How do you fit into that world? You the young people, based on the current education we are giving you. So this is why you come in. This is why your role is in terms of politics. If we say politics, we're not only talking about partisan politics. Obviously, you've been used and abused for many years, young people. When politicians come for you, it's because they want to use you. Did you ever see a politician putting their child on the top of a gala to go and campaign for them? No. It's you they use. They'll tell you, go and protest, it's your right. Their children don't go to protest, it's you. When you're arrested, you are put in the cell, they sit at home eating benachin with their kids. So when you think of politics, don't think of that partisan politics. Go beyond that. Think of development. How do you ensure? And our generation was lucky. I call that generation the golden generation. One, because we had access to at least quality education under the previous government. It was better, the grade 6 system and the common entrance was better than the grade 12 now. One. Two, we had access to travel. Visa system was introduced in the Gambia after 1994. So most of our generation are able to travel on scholarships, so easier. Most of you will be forced to live in this country. You don't have a choice. Trump is building a wall. The EU are stopping you from going. The education system is in shambles. What future then for you if you are forced to live in this country with this country? This is why you come in now, to play that role and engage the government constructively. And as young people, you should know what you want and you should know how to demand it. Not everything that is about protest. When you make demands, sometimes you need to know what you want and you craft and design a strategy to get it. So this is why you come in as to what role can you play here. You have an important role here. Most of you, obviously, are not 18 yet. Some of you are. And most of you in the last electoral cycle, you are not eligible to vote. In the next one, you are eligible to vote. And so, therefore, this issue of the role you can play is very complex in very many different ways. One by engaging government. One by also educating yourself and knowing what your rights are, what your responsibilities are as citizens. What are your privileges? What role can you play in a society? Because if you don't know these things, then it doesn't make sense. That is where the empowerment comes in. First we empower. How do we empower? By giving you the tools, the tools you need to thrive in a democratic environment. What are those tools? Education first. Education. Some of you don't even know today how much government is spending on your education per child on average. Let's say, for example, government says, well, our education budget is $1.2 billion every year. How much is invested now per child from that $1.2 billion? Is it enough? Perhaps no. Then that's why you engage the government. Well, government is not enough. Well, government, what are you doing to make sure that we get access to school in terms of transportation? Do we have any? We don't have any elaborate school transportation system here. It's sad. That is why here today, when you get the Gallagher van to go to school, you'll pay the same amount of money that the person who's working is paying, but students will get discounts because they're not working. So what are they doing for that? We have a lot of students here today, we don't even have the statistics, who are living in disability. We don't cater for them because there are people with special needs in our schools. You engage government. What are you doing for those who are living with disabilities? All different types of disabilities. Is it fair that if the UTG is asking for 5 credits from me who doesn't live with a disability to enter university, is it fair that the person with a disability also asking for 5 credits? Even though in the school system, I'm more advantaged than that person. We don't have teaching aid in schools. We don't even know that we don't even have the statistics that how many of our students are living with disabilities so that we can come up with policies together for them. We are not. This is how you engage government. Things that we are selling everything. Prime land is gone. My kids will not have access to prime land in this country. They might be forced to live and rent for the rest of their lives. What does that mean for us? They are destroying the environment, that is one thing. But most importantly, when was the last time we built a multi-purpose center in this country where young people can go and develop their talent? Never. All we are building is house for rent and stores. 30 by 30. That's what we are doing in this country. Sure. We are not using our land. See, these are the things that you should be engaged in. And that is, for me, I'll come back again. If we say, how you engage in politics, it's not just shout and clap and run after these politicians who will just, no. It's about you engaging your government and knowing what you want and coming with a strategy. How do you get it? See, we have 2 types of citizens. Those who are very, not lackadaisical, I wouldn't use that term, but inactive, passive, and active citizens. You should be active citizens. You should be constructive citizens and take part in the national debate, understand how your country is governed, influence it, influence the debate, and that is how you engage in politics. When it comes to, obviously, the other practical in terms of voting, you have your voter's card. 1, the Constitution makes build America. This generation, us and you, should build this country for the next generation. Already the country was not built for us to enjoy. That's why today we are suffering. But we cannot let posterity to go through the same fate. We have to ensure that we build this country for the next generation. So that when they come, when they look back at history, well, this was the generation that changed Gambia. This was the Gambian model. It was a new model. The paradigm shift happened in this period. And who were the leaders? They'll name Omar Said. They'll name Molamin Tiba. They'll name, what's your name? They'll name Ami Kole. These are the pioneers that changed this country for good. These are the guys who came with new thinking. When we talk about China, the Great Leap, Mao came with new thinking, the Great Leap, and transformed China within 30 years. Today, look at China. It's even surpassing America. Not militarily now, but at least economically. So when do we start to make Gambia a great country? People say it's a small country. It's not. Size is small, but we have two great minds. It's a very great country. And we have to remove that thinking it's a small country. Gambia is much more, is richer than most countries that are excellent today. Rwanda in '94 was 0. It was burned down to zero. Even birds were not flying over Rwanda because of the genocide. Today we are looking, it pains me when I see, let's go and see the Rwanda build America. Huh? This generation, us and you, should build this country for the next generation. Already the country was not built for us to enjoy. That's why today we are suffering. But we cannot let posterity to go through the same fate. We have to ensure that we build this country for the next generation. So that when they come, when they look back at history, well, this was the generation that changed Gambia. This was the Gambian model. It was a new model. The paradigm shift happened in this period. And who were the leaders? They'll name Omar Saibu. They'll name Molamin Tiba. They'll name, what's your name? They'll name Ami Kole. These are the pioneers that changed this country for good. These are the guys who came with new thinking. When we talk about China, the Great Leap, Mao came with new thinking, the Great Leap, and transformed China within 30 years. Today, look at China. It's even surpassing America. Not militarily now, but at least economically. So when do we start to make Gambia a great country? People say it's a small country. It's not. Size is small, but we have two great minds. It's a very great country. And we have to remove that thinking it's a small country. Gambia is much more, it's richer than most countries that excel today. Rwanda in '94 was zero. It was burned down to zero. Even birds were not flying over Rwanda because of the genocide. Today we are looking, it pains me. Four, what does Rwanda have that we don't have? Size, we are equally small. In fact, Switzerland is a smaller country with 8 million people. Luxembourg is less than 1 million people. No mineral resources, but they use their mind thinking. They look inwards and see what do we have that we can harness. What do we have in the Gambia? That is why I always advocate for what they call a sovereign development agenda. We need to move away from this development agenda which is Western or Eastern imposed. They come up with that. We need to identify a sovereign development agenda which looks inwards and look at what do we have? What resources do we have? Well, we have a youthful population. Yeah. How do we refine them to contribute? We have our sea. Look at this beautiful nature. Look, this is beautiful. How do we sell this to make money from it? And that's why tourism comes in. But the world has changed. Yes, we have agriculture, tourism, we have the youthful population, we have aquaculture, but the world has changed as well. There's something that has been added. There's a dimension. What is that dimension? What? Technology. Information, communications, and technology. How do we now use that as a dynamo to spur unprecedented growth in this country, to diversify our economy, to tap on untapped and potential resources? They told us in '65 that the only thing we are good at is growing groundnuts, peanuts. We are not. There are so many things, and it pains me today that when I look around and see that we are not producing anything in this country that we benefit from. Zero. Everything we eat, everything we wear, everything is dependent on outside forces. And these are subject to external shocks. Today, if something happens on the Atlantic Ocean and ships don't come to Gambia again, we'll finish our rice stock within 1 month and there will be no rice anymore. What we'll be eating. That's the problem. So we need to start thinking, how do we really, the countries don't survive like that. So for me, I mean, just to conclude, when it comes to, these are the things that we should be thinking about when we say, for me, I don't believe, obviously, partisan politics is important. But it should not be, when we talk about politics for young people, it should not overshadow the debate. It should not be the priority. For you, in terms of your engagement in politics, it's more on policy. How do we engage? How do we change this country for good? Because it's you who should do it. Don't expect Lloyd Awo to do it, or Barrow to do it. Don't expect Mama Kane to do it. It's you who should do it. These politicians have their own interests. And sometimes their interests are diametrically opposed to your interests. So therefore, you should know your interest. You should know what you want as young people of this country. You should know how to get it, and make sure you get it. Other young people have done it in other countries. Today, if you look at other countries, if you look at the leadership landscape is changing. Macron in France is a young president. Justin Trudeau in Canada is a young president. This guy in Australia is a young president. Obama came, he was young, he was 44 years old. He was given the key to the American millions and a budget of how many $1 trillion, a young man like that. So this is why you come in now. Let nobody fool you that the young people are the future generation. You are the future generation. Because when you agree to that deceit, cycle of deceit, the young will never become leaders. Because before the future comes here old. So that cycle continues. So we'll never have young leaders in this country. So it is now. If one of you is sitting here and you have political ambition, and you know you want to transform your country, don't join politics because of the perks that come with it, because you want to transform your own life. Join politics because you think you have what it takes to transform your country. And join it, and then don't listen to people, they'll discourage you. No, you are too young, no, wait for this, no, that, no. It's bullocks. You can do it, you can make it. And you have to believe in yourself. You have to have confidence in yourself. And say, look, I want to join politics. And if we say join politics, not only presidential, there are many positions to be filled from National Assembly to councillors to look at the debacle we are experiencing in Brikama with that BAC chairman. Do you think West Coast don't have competent young people who can run and transform Brikama Area Council? Talib is doing a good job in KMC. It's young and dynamic. So obviously these are the inspirations. People like Talib, young people who join politics against the odds, even though there are forces that will be militating against your success. But don't listen to them. Have confidence in social media because you're doing it for your country, you're not doing it for yourself. I think my time is up. I thank you all, and I hope you buy
Thank you, Doctor. I hope someone or all of you are inspired. I am inspired just listening to Doctor. And some of these things we've been talking about, and I repeat, don't wait for anybody, don't wait for anything. And we talked about that this morning, and that's what Doctor said. If you guys want to transform, start with yourself, and start now. Not next week, not when I finish my exams, when I finish school or whatever. Start now, and start with yourself. You have to change yourself first before you can change anything else. So start now, and again, Doctor, that was inspirational, that's motivational. Thank you for your time. We appreciate you leaving your busy schedule to come here and talk to you guys. So, on that note, let's give Doctor a big zim here. Zim! Okay.
Sorry, put them, I'm space.